If we were to review games here at Pocket Gamer on their ambition alone, Vast would probably get the top score. We'd also get shouted at way more in the comments than we do now, so it's not something we're going to implement. And in any case, that top mark would be wasted on Vast. Sure, it's a game that tries to do something extra special, throwing together a premium FPS adventure experience with a solid art style and a ton of content. But some of the worst controls we've seen for ages mean that the main takeaway you're going to get from this one, other than the £15 dent in your wallet, is going to be something not unlike seasickness. The game starts with you stumbling out of a pod, Halo style. There's some story, then you start to wander around the big, echoing confines of your ship to try and find out what's going on. Or at least, that's what you're supposed to do. After about 20 minutes of walking into things, walking off of things, and suddenly spinning around while looking at the ceiling, the enemies first pop up. By now you're already fully aware that this is a broken game, and that no amount of alien baddies is going to change that. And it doesn't. You can't aim and shoot at the same time, since the look stick is right next to the button you use to fire your weapon. Instead, you end up combining strafing and shooting in an ineffectual and far from entertaining slogfest. It won't be long before death is a comforting release. When it comes to style, Vast borrows from a large number of sources. There are shades of Half-Life, Quake, and Metroid Prime here, and those shades act to remind you of what you could be doing instead of wasting your time with this. For all that's wrong with Vast, there's a part of us that wanted it to be something special. It's a weird sort of game, more like a first-person action RPG than a shooter, and there's clearly been a lot of work put into trying to get the game to work. But the sad fact is that it just doesn't. It's a prime example of a game built without the understanding of mobile control that action games need. Stick all the controls in a jumble at the bottom, make them all so sensitive that sometimes turning a corner flips you 360, and while you might be staying true to your influences, you're ensuring no one's going to enjoy the experience. Vast is almost a lesson in how not to do a mobile shooter. The combat is poor, the exploration is draining, and the lack of subtitles mean you're going to miss pretty much anything that's said unless you've got headphones on. It's almost like following a checklist designed to annoy you. Now, here's the caveat. Anyone playing with a physical controller can add a couple of points in their head to the imaginary score. But even then, the width of the game's aspirations are choked by the narrowness of its play. There's a rigidity here when there should be a smooth flow. And in the end, no matter how you play, Vast doesn't offer up enough fun. It's not worth the money or the time. And while we actively encourage developers to think big, Vast loses its identity and its focus in its big plans.